Hello, this is a recap of American series called The Last Man on Earth Part 4. Please don't forget to subscribe. Let's begin. Philip and Carol are finally living together, but Philip can hardly fall asleep because of the noise of Carol's breathing machine. He asks her to keep it down, and she agrees, but it only lasts for a few seconds. The next morning, he finds out that she has drawn a puppy on the monet painting he stole from the museum long ago. She says it was to give it to life, unaware of the legacy of the original painting. Not just that, but she has also made a little duck beside Van Gogh. Then he finds out she labeled these adult magazines as molested girls and put them in the storeroom. He asks her to never touch her things again because even though they are living in the same house, at the end of the day, it is his house. They get into an argument which somehow ends in Carol making him a shopping list. Philip storms out while cursing her silently. He goes outside to write his frustration on the grievance board, which is filled with complaints about himself. His days get worse after seeing Todd giving Melissa a haircut. Filled with jealousy, Philip complains about haircuts practices in the grievance board. A while later, he's outside the grocery store and has bought everything he was asked to, but instead of bringing them home, he sets the items on fire. He asks God for a do-over out of frustration, and strangely enough, the wishes come true. A car stops in front of him and two beautiful women step outside. They are also brought here by the Alive in Tucson board and are excited to see the first man in the past 2 years. Phillips feels just as excited, but upon being asked if he knows more people, he goes silent. After giving it a thought, he says that he is the only man in Tucson. He wants to use this opportunity as a do-over to gain two beautiful women as his partners. They introduce themselves as Gail and Erica. Gail is slightly older than the two, which Philip loves, while Erica is Australian, which he finds attractive. They bring him to their mansion and have a drink together, celebrating their union. The girls reveal that they met while they both were staying at the White House and have been together ever since. They also insinuate that they have been in a lesbian relationship till now, which excites Philip even more. Now that he is here, the girls aren't afraid to admit that they will be ending the relationship, which only exists because they thought no man was alive. The comment is all Philip was waiting for. He's having the best time of his life until they notices the ring on his finger. This reminds him of Carol and he decided to go home for a while. He leaves but not before promising the girls that he will be back for dinner. At home, he brings Carol everything on her shopping list and greets her with a smile out of guilt. Still, it doesn't stop him from making excuses about where he was and where he is about to go later. He says he will be going camping to relax for the night. Carol notices that he is in a great mood and supports him, even though he lives without any gear of camping. She doesn't suspect him. Following the interaction, Philip goes to his favorite bar and gets dressed. He talks to Paul Buddy, asking for their opinion on the Gail and Erica thing. He pretends that they are cheering for him and convinces him that he is making a good decision. Moreover, Carol said that she is happy when he is happy, so he feels obligated to make himself happy by sleeping with other women. In the following scene, he greets Gail and Erica with a bottle of wine. They compliment each other before heading to the dining hall for dinner. Gail is a chef and has made many gourmet dishes using whatever care ingredients they had. Meanwhile, Melissa, Todd, and Carol are also having dinner together. When the topic of Philip and his personality arises, Melissa is deeply uncomfortable. She doesn't like him a single bit and thinks he is a pathological liar. Todd, however, is Philip's fan. He thinks Melissa is too harsh on him and that he deserves a chance to do better in life. As Todd posts about how good of a man his friends is, Gail and Erica and pouring alcohol down Philip's throat. Everything goes well until he accidentally makes a comment about liking older women and black women in general. The girls take offense to it and start pulling back for him. Philip quickly recovers by saying that his wife Carol is dead and he is still mourning. That is why he hasn't been able to take take off the wedding ring yet. This gains him their sympathy and brings his plan back on track. He even makes up an entire dramatic story about Carol's death and how much it has hurt his life. To make him feel better, the girl suggests they go skinny dipping in the hot spring. Philip almost jumps in excitement at the thought. He knows he is getting laid tonight and is over the moon. Somewhere else, Carol thinks she should do something special for her husband since he has been good to her in the last few days. Todd agrees and suggests they fill the house with balloons as a random act of kindness. Melissa doesn't think Philip deserves it, but decided to help the other two. They set off to the grocery while at the same time the other three are on their way to the hot spring. To Philip's misfortune, the car stops in front of each other. Gail and Erica come outside, greeting Todd, Melissa, and Carol in excitement. They are so happy to have found each other that they forget about Philip for a few minutes. Then Gail asks him to come outside and Carol sees that it is none other than her dear husband. Everyone is furious at Philip, Gail and Erica for hiding other humans for them, Todd for disappointing him, and Carol for everything Philip has ever done. Then he insists that he was planning to bring them tonight. He pretends to be happy because they were surprised, claiming that they were supposed to meet each other in shocking circumstances according to his plan. Despite no one believing him, he repeatedly tries to prove that it was a prank. They also discover that Philip lied about Carol's death. To get out of the situation, he starts making up absurd stories like he was married to someone else than Carol before the virus. In the end, they call him disgusting and drive home, leaving him stranded in the middle of the street. Philip, who had thought this would be the greatest night of his life, has to walk all night to reach the neighborhood in the morning. The newly arrived girls, Todd and Melissa, are enjoying dairy products while chatting about different things. They socialize with each other, besides on their mutual hatred for Philip. Just then, Philip arrives and tries to make conversation with them as if nothing happened. They give him the silent treatment and he tries to fight back but is wildly unsuccessful. Following that, he goes to his house and finds Carol waiting for him. She makes strange noises, then sarcastically apologizes for being a ghost. Philip still remains adamant that it was just a prank. In the end, Carol calls him a skunk and kicks him out of the house, even though it is his house. Philip knows he has lost the privilege to urge after what happened yesterday. He looks at the wallpaper of him and Carol before walking away in distress. At night, he stays at his favorite bar with his pool buddies, who always have his back. He is confident that the other will come looking for him if he doesn't return home the entire night. He also doesn't mind sleeping on the pool table and calls it a rather comfortable place. With no one comes for an entire day, he keeps himself entertained by juggling the bottles of the alcohol for his friends. Meanwhile, Gail and Erica try to make amends with Carol. They bring her pecan pie and apologize for believing Philip. Even though it was not their fault, Carol cannot help but blame them. She insists them being ready to have sex with a guy they just met was unethical. The girls leave after an awkward conversation and he takes a pie with them. After that, Melissa and Todd come to have a chat with her. Carol hardly looks at them and replies with curt answers to their question. She is jealous that they have a good relationship but pretend to be unbothered. To prove that she's fine, she even makes them kiss. By the end of the conversation, the couple figures out that they can do nothing to help her. They ask her to come to them anytime she wants before taking off. After staying in the bar for 2 days, Philip is now sure that no one is coming to apologize for misunderstanding him. He wishes that he was a different person, which gives him an idea. In the following scene, he knocks on Carol's door as Mike, Philip's twin brother with permed hair. Carol just shuts the door to his face without saying anything. The next morning, Philip overhears the other talking about him. They discuss how he is a pathological liar and how it has affected his and Carol's relationship. Initially, Philip told himself they are just laughing, but upon giving it a thought, he registers he is in fact a liar. With a new vision, he goes to the rest of the group one last time. They are sitting around the fire drinking, trying to ignore his presence. Philip understands their feeling and admits that what he did was Jill, and Erica was not a prank. He is regretful for lying every single time that he has, especially to Carol, who has always wanted the best for him. He apologizes for not being the husband she wants him to be because he lied when he said I do to her in the church. Everyone listened to him for the first time, saying that he is actually sorry. In the following scene, Philip is with his both buddies again. The problem might not have been solved, but he feels a lot better after getting everything off his chest. Just then, he is surprised by Carol's arrival. He has brought a mate that she made in the past 2 days, especially for him because it says skunk. Given the analogy of the mat, she reveals that their marriage is not working no matter how hard she tries. She hands him the divorce papers and the two get divorced at the end. For some reasons, Philip feels sad while signing the paper. They share a passionate kiss after that, but stops himself from going further, deciding to stay friends for now. After that, the two announce their divorce to the others. Gail and Erica discover that they were only married for 3 weeks. This surprised them and they start seeing Philip as a handsome single man again. The next day, Carol has moved out of Philip's home. When he's alone, Gail arrives and seductively invites him to help her with something. Phil gets a hint and the two are about to kiss when Carol arrives to get her belongings. She asks them to contain, but the two don't feel comfortable with her in the house. Before leaving, Gail asks Philip to be home at 3 because she will be coming over. Phillips is over the moon and cannot wait for the clock to hit 3. In the meantime, Todd and Melissa's relationship is going great. He makes her a heart-shaped pancake and tells her that he loves her for the first time. However, she replies with a simple thank you. The answer takes him by surprise, but he pretends to be okay with it. Please wait for part 5. I hope you like the video. Please don't forget to subscribe. Bye!